Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host Bryan. We're going to continue on with this week's theme of dark ambient, checking out music that is either darkly ambient or within the dark ambient genre. We're going to be moving on today with Tim Hecker, who I believe I have heard in passing, but I don't believe I've heard any music from him. We'll be checking out the track Stigmata II. So, let's dive into this and see what's going on. I'm trying to grasp this. There's so little to hang on to, though. It's interesting the shifts from consonant to dissonant harmonies in that really quick vibrato, I suppose. Digital vibrato. I mean, this track's almost over, isn't it? We can't have much longer. This is the whole thing. Hey, what are you doing up there? Alright, so here's the deal. This is obviously ambient music. barely moving, single idea, small variations to it, but not really aiming to. Well, I was gonna say not really aiming to do much with melody. I don't think it has any melody. We did have a melodic synth tone that had a really nice openness to it as far as timbre goes. There at 2.5 minutes in, I don't know, we were getting close to the end. And it did something melodic, but I don't know that I would call it a melody. And so everything in here ends up being textural and or harmonic. Where even the harmonic elements are, at least to me, there's harmonic ideas going on because of textural ones. It's not so much that I think the specific harmonies were chosen, like at that section where we had the wide or the quick vibrato come in, panning from the left to the right, and as it was panning across, we got a second note that was vibrato wing, vibrato winging after it, and sort of chasing it across the channels. And so as they're doing their vibrato, though, the vibrato, what it is it's minor intonation movements. If you are directly on the note perfectly, your vibrato is going to sharpen it a little bit, bring it back middle, flatten it a little bit, bring back middle, sharpen. And that's what vibrato is. It's just very minute. Oh, it doesn't have to be minute. You can have a very wide vibrato and really, move far away from your home pitch and yeah, on both sides. But regardless, is that we have these two notes. And I don't remember if they were the same home notes, but they were fluctuating in different times. Um, it's not that they both went up and down at the same time. They were sort of vibrating against each other. And so when one becomes a bit sharp, the other one might be coming a bit flat. And so we get some really strong dissonance coming in through there. But I swear they were vibrating at different frequencies. So occasionally, because if they were at the same frequency, they would always be out of pitch for the most part. But if they're at different frequencies, then one would be the movement from up to down is going to be faster or slower than the other one, which is going to change their note relationships, the intervals between them on a moment to moment basis. And sometimes it will land on something highly consonant. But again, I don't think it was specifically chosen for those notes, for those feelings. It was simply, I like this vibrato thing going on. If I introduce another one, we can get some other cool textures out of it. Those textures happen to be consonants and dissonants. So it's not so much about the notes themselves or the relationship that these notes have or what kind of feeling the composer can pull out of the dyad from the note interval. It's just about the fact that they weave in and out of consonants. So, like I was saying, even for the harmonic elements, I feel like the harmonic component is more of a bonus. Oh, we also get these harmonic elements out of it. A lot of this song is about texture, it's about atmosphere, it's about the way that it makes you feel, not based on the notes themselves, but how the notes are delivered into your ear. And that's what a lot of ambient music is about. So I'm not really saying anything brand new here. So, what are the sounds that Tim Hecker uses? I've already talked about the fluctuating consonants there towards the end, but I think kind of sets the bar at the beginning of the track and lets you know what you're in for. We have this single tone with a bit of a rhythmic groove to it, and every so often, I never really found a pattern to it, something about it would boost. It would spike until it was loud and distorted, and just had this gnarly buzz to it. I suppose the closest analogy would be just cranking the volume until it clips and then bringing it back down to where it was. I don't know if that's exactly what's going on there. It could be the illusion of that, where there's a bunch of elements at play that come together to craft that visual. But that's what it feels like to me, at least. And so we have this tone that it's monotone. It is one sound. There is a pattern that's difficult to pick up on. So there's some obscurity to this. There's some mystery to it all. And every once in a while, you get hit with this very ominous sound. And I don't know if it's ominous just because it is different, or if it's ominous because that is what a lot of alarms sound like. Alarms are loud and they tend to have a buzziness to them. I don't know if that's because alarm sounds technically clip. I don't know if it has to do with sound waves going into the ear. I have no idea why, but at least to me, alarms tend to have a buzziness to them. And they're also very loud, which is what that kind of reminds me of. It is a peaceful tone until it's an alarm ringing in my ear, and then we're back to the peace. And so I have this, listening to this, I'm really put on edge. Am I supposed to be tense? Is there an issue that I should be that I should know about? Or am I supposed to be relaxing to whatever that tone is in the background and the chillness of this front foreground sound? I'm not going to say it's definitely a chill sound altogether, but comparatively, it is a very soft, round sound. And so, as soon as the song starts, I think we only get 5, 10 seconds into this. I'm already put at this crossroads where I'm trying to figure out the puzzle. What is going on here? What am I listening to? How am I supposed to be responding to this? What is the composer attempting to pull out of this? What does it all mean? And so I went searching for answers. As my brain does, I begin to pick up on nuances, new ideas coming in, the repetition of things, the fact that we don't really go anywhere for 4 minutes. Everything that comes in that's new, everything that's still sticking around, I catalog and I try to figure out what is going on here. What is the purpose of any of this? And the thing is, with a lot of ambient music, I walk away without any answers because I don't think ambient music really works well scrutinized under this lens. There is probably a line of critical analysis that you could utilize with, well, this could be drone, right? I don't think we drone on for the entire track, and it's a lot tamer than, what was that, Earth and Gold, I think it was. Oh, no, the band was Earth, and the song was Like Gold and Faceted. I think that's the one. Um, which was just like drone to the extreme. So, like I said, this is not as intense as that as far as the drone goes, but this could be drone, right? A lot of this song is a single idea going on and on without anything really changing above it. It's all minute stuff. I'm going to call it drone. I think there's a line of critical analysis that could be utilized to get a reading on music like this. I don't have that education, I don't have that vocabulary, I don't have that experience. What I do have, though, is a switching of gears. Late into the track, there was probably only 40, 50 seconds left to go. I came to the point, I was like, this isn't changing, There's nothing going on here. I've reached the end of my, my orchestral listening. I don't think I'm going to pull anything out of this from a critical, intensive listening style. What is going on emotionally? And this is where things started to click. And I want to put emphasis on started. If I had approached the song like this from the beginning, I might have a totally different read here. However, this song makes me feel very unsettled. I didn't really get a chance to feel it, to get into it, to really marinate in that feeling. By the time I had decided to connect with the emotional side of the track, it was over. We were working on those last 5-10 seconds of kind of silence there at the end, the white noise. But there's so many little elements in here that I wish I could pinpoint. I think some of it's going to be production. I think some of it is timbre placement. I think some of it's just going to be the sound of the instruments. There is something very cold and metallic about a lot of the electronic sounds utilized in this track. It could be a bunch of things in a bunch of different areas of music creation that all come together and amplify each other too. I don't know. But there is something in here that makes me feel very uneasy. And I already kind of alluded to some of that at the beginning. I was put on edge just from our opening sounds. But even by the end, when we had abandoned that sound, there is a darkness. There is a creeping unfamiliar, let me put it that way, that resides under the surface level here. I'm not going to say that this is a scary song on the surface. The sounds that you would listen to without really digging into the track, they're not exactly palatable, but they're not eerie or scary or haunting. There isn't really that darkness there that I think most people would associate with those types of emotions in music. But there is something unnatural going on underneath the surface. And I think if I gave it a second listen, it would be purely casual, trying to connect with it on an emotional level rather than an intellectual one. And I think I would walk away from this with a bit of a different perspective, I think, on the track. With that said, there are no lyrics here, so I don't have anything to dive into there. I'm just going to wrap up the video with that. But those are just my thoughts on Stigmata II. What did y'all think? Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed it. Was there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you really connected with that you wished I had felt, or even is just your own perspective on the track, your own experience with it. I'm completely open to other people's interpretations because, as usual with this type of drone ambient stuff, I'm just not real great at reading it. But I'll get there, right? I wasn't great at reading some of the extreme metal stuff that I have pretty good reads on now. It's all about exposure, and I have very, very little with ambient. Above the comment section is a description box. In there, you'll find a link to Linktree. It takes you here. You can find links to the Discord server, ways to support the channel, link to my music, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell, I greatly appreciate all three of those. We have a special selection coming up next. Otherwise, I'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.